how to bring influence in your environment, in the people you interact with. We've been talking about how to become or how to be a person of influence. And today we want to discuss some practical things, actually. So how to bring influence. Now, I just want to go through several things that you can do that will make you to indeed intentionally be of positive influence. Like I said in the first video, everybody influences people whether you plan to or not. But you can be deliberate and take the influence in the direction that honors God and that produces maximum effect. So number one, understand your context. Understand where you are. If you're going to influence, let's say for instance you are trying to influence people in high school, so you've got to understand how things happen there. You've got to understand clubs and societies. You've got to understand the pressures of young people in school. There's a time I did a lot of high school ministry, and one of the things I used to do is to relate the messages I'm giving with the experiences they're going through, being molested as a Form 1, being about to finish your course and you don't know what you're going to do, struggling with particular subjects. Be relevant, know your context. Number two is to be well read, because there's nobody who is a monopoly of knowledge. So you read a lot. Now, I'm going to tell you that you read the Bible, but I think I'll handle that next time. But read the scriptures, definitely. But beyond the scriptures, read other things. Newspapers, books, biographies. I even read good novels, clean, good novels that broaden your knowledge of the world, understanding of where science is going, understand where politics is going, global politics is going, understand, things about influence, nations are influencing on others. Be informed, technology and different things that are there so that you are able to have something to pass on. Number three, be engaged on media, and here I'm thinking specifically on social media because it has become something somewhat of a key area that we use to communicate, like I'm doing right now. But it is good to have a specific thing that you talk about on social media. The people who have been most successful have found a niche. Okay, so what is it? Is it cooking? Is it leadership? Is it Bible exposition like I do sometimes? Is it things about technology? Is it about driving? Is it about sports? Have something which can draw people and then use that to bring about more of the influence. Listen to Matthew 13:33. The kingdom of heaven is like leaven that a woman took and mixed into 3 measures of flour until all of it was leavened. So you don't go to social media. You can go there actually with a very, let's say, secular topic, but use that eventually to draw people towards the Lord. Okay? How else can you influence? You can write. You can write articles in the newspapers. You can write books. And I've done one, a devotional. Okay? In areas that you can influence people. But you can write blogs. You can write stuff on using even social media, on Facebook, on other Twitter, or other places. You can still do some writing to influence people's thinking. How can you influence? You can begin fellowships. You can begin a Bible study over in your place of work, over in your community, over in your church. There's a friend of mine who has started a reading group where different people come together, they read a particular book, and then they meet and discuss and see what they're learning. You can also run for office. And now we are headed to the time of elections, and that is one way of influencing. Because when you are there, you'll be able to put good morals and positive and godly leadership into place in the space that the Lord gives you. Whether it is in your organization or in the general political environment, it is good to run for some offices or present yourself to lead, and not just be humble too much and then you are not being very helpful. Next, you can teach a class. This is, for many of us, you've done some postgraduate studies, you're a PhD candidate, whatever. Get yourself into some class and teach. And as you teach, I used to teach a lot some time ago, and I would have these students every week. And most of those students, if I see them, they can remember me, because I was able to pour a lot beside the subject matter into their lives. So if you're able to get into teaching, it will help you. Finally, how can you influence? You can volunteer. For example, I once finished, when I finished, I think it was A-levels, I went to my primary school in my village with my friends of mine, and we offered to do coaching for the candidate class. And I, which subject we are good at, you can teach the young people mathematics, English, and as you teach them, you influence them, and you may be able to touch them in a way that they'll never be different. I have also served on a few boards in schools and other organizations. You can also accept to serve in various boards like that. Of course, don't overburden, but this is the way you deliberately become a person of influence, by finding spaces specifically to be involved. If you go to organizations and let's say they have a social welfare, or they have a cooperative society, they are always looking for people to serve in the board or to be leaders in the executive. And some people always refuse. I'm challenging you today to accept some of those positions, and through that, God will use you to bring influence. So please know that what you have can spread to the rest of society, but you need to be deliberate in being in that space where you can be of influence. How to bring influence in your sphere of influence. This has been Jotham Munene on CITAM Church Online, and we thank you for joining us, and we invite you to give us your response through the social media platforms. God bless you.